The M3 MacBook Pro, everything you need to know about it coming up right now. Here's what we know so far about the next generation of 13-inch, 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. Now, Apple makes three different sizes of MacBook Pro. You've got the 13-inch, the 14-inch and the 16-inch model. The 13-inch and the 14-inch models may only be an inch apart, but they're quite different. The 13-inch model is closer to a MacBook Air, the legendary MacBook Air, than a Pro, but it does have some unique features and benefits. While the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro currently support either an M2 Pro or an M2 Max processor, with the 16-inch model being the ultimate Pro with a massive Retina XDR display. The question is, what is coming next? I've gathered together all the rumors about the next generation of MacBook Pro, from what the M3, the M3 Pro and the M3 Max could offer, and other benefits the new chips could bring, to the predicted pricing and the speculation about the screen, and even the future of the notch. Are you a notch fan? Hit me up in the comments real quick. So let's get into it. The M3 MacBook Pro release date, 13-inch MacBook Pro. 13-inch MacBook Pro could get released late 2023. I'm not so sure about that. The 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, we're looking at early 2024. Now, the 13-inch MacBook Pro is expected to get an update. We want a full update, not just a chip update, because that thing is looking so dated. It's expected to get an update to the M3 in the near future. Back in July 2023, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman predicted that alongside an M3 MacBook Air and iMac, the 13-inch MacBook Pro would be updated with an M3 chip in the fall of 2023. At the same time, he wrote the October launch could feature the first Macs with M3 chips. October is too early for the new high-end MacBook Pros or desktop, so the first beneficiaries of the new chip should be the next iMac, 13-inch MacBook Air and 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now, Gurman reiterated this in August when he stated that Apple's M3 release cycle would likely start in October, with the M3 chip in the 13-inch MacBook Pro, 13 and 15-inch MacBook Airs, Mac Mini and iMac. However, by that point, he was less certain that this news would be delivered at an Apple event. However, the wait could stretch into the spring. There have been reports that the M3 production was delayed because all efforts went into manufacturing chips for the new iPhone, which uses the same 3nm process that the M3 is expected to. Now, according to analysts in September up on X, the M3 won't make its debut in a MacBook until 2024. Let's talk 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros. We expect the wait for the 14 and 16-inch updates will take a little longer. The M3 Pro and the M3 Max and eventually Ultra chips will most likely roll out in the spring or summer of 2024. Now, Mark Gurman did indicate in an October newsletter that the M3 Pro and M3 Max powered 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro models have already reached design validation testing, or DVT. Now, Gurman thinks that the new M3 Pro and Max machines could arrive between early and spring 2024, so the wait may not be that long. Let's talk M3 MacBook Pro pricing. There's been rumors that Apple will introduce a low-cost MacBook designed primarily for the education market. Lots think this would be an unlikely move, though. It's also possible that we could see a lower price for all new MacBook Pro models, at least in some locations. So pricing could look like this: 13-inch MacBook Pro M3, 256 gig storage, $1,299 US. 13-inch MacBook Pro M3, 512 gig storage, $1,499 US. 14-inch MacBook Pro M3 Pro with 512 gig of storage, $1,999 US. 14-inch MacBook Pro M3 Pro with 1 terabyte of storage, $2,499 US. 16-inch MacBook Pro M3 Pro with 512 gigabyte of storage, $2,499 US. 16-inch MacBook Pro M3 Pro with 1 terabyte of storage, $2,699 US. And a 16-inch MacBook Pro M3 Max with 1 terabyte of storage. It's the dream, at $3,499 US. Let's talk M3 MacBook Pro displays. Higher peak brightness and greater power efficiency lined up for this. Now, there's been rumors for years that Apple would move the MacBook displays to OLED, as seen on the iPhone. This would allow for better power efficiency and increased battery life and offer better color and brightness. However, it doesn't look like Apple will be making this change for this generation. But that doesn't mean that we won't be seeing display improvements. According to DigiTimes, the next generation of 14-inch and 16-inch 13-inch MacBook Pro displays will use the new mini LEDs that are 10% brighter than the ones Apple currently use, which have a maximum XDR brightness of 1000 nits sustained and 1600 nits peak. Not only can they be brighter when set to the same brightness as the current mini LEDs, but apparently they'll use less power, so we could see improved battery life. Let's talk M3 MacBook Pro notch and FaceTime camera. An icon representing a MacBook in the iPad OS 17.1 beta includes what appears to be a dynamic island at the top of the screen rather than a notch. I like this sneaky research. Now, whether this means the notch will also come to the 13-inch MacBook Pro remains to be seen, but since the 13-inch MacBook Pro currently is limited to a 720p FaceTime HD camera, we kind of hope it'll get upgraded to the 1080p FaceTime HD camera, which is seen elsewhere in the range. Now, the inclusion of the notch on the MacBook Pro doesn't currently support Face ID, but there is suggestions that it could in the future. A patent discovered in June 2023, more sneaky research, indicated that this is something Apple is looking to incorporate. Let's talk new MacBook Pro specs. First up, the M3. The M3 is expected to take advantage of the same 3nm fabrication process as was used for the A17 in the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. If this is the case, it could be the first desktop computer to use a 3nm chip. The M2 series uses the 5nm process. Now, the benefits of the 3nm process are that it allows more transistors on a chip, which could provide a performance boost beyond what we've seen for the past couple of generations. The M3 could also offer better power efficiency for improved battery life. And it's the new 3nm process that could lead to delays for the launch of the M3. Apple is using TSMC to manufacture these chips, and they've been stretched to fulfill Apple's orders for the A17 for the iPhones. Now, back in May on X, it was indicated that the M3 chip destined for the iPad Pro and next generation of Macs won't arrive until 2024 due to TSMC's yield issues. Now, despite this, Gurman still expects the M3 to arrive soon, and he has some idea of what to expect based on developer logs for the M3 Pro and Max that were spotted in August. Now, based on those logs, the standard M3 is likely to offer 8 CPU cores, that's 4 performance and 4 efficiency, and 10 or 12 GPU cores. Now, that's the same as currently, but the 3nm process should lead to speed boosts. As well as support for less RAM, another thing that holds up the M2 Max right now is the smaller SSDs on offer for the entry-level model. In tests, the 256GB SSD is seen to be slower than the 512GB option. It's suspected that this is because the 256GB storage option is a single NAND chip instead of two 128GB chips. The M3 Pro. This is said to be getting 12 or 14 CPU cores, that's 6 or 8 performance and 6 efficiency, and 18 or 20 GPU cores. This represents a similar boost in core counts to that seen in the move from M1 to M2. Currently, the M2 Pro offers 10 or 12 core CPU and 16 or 19 core GPU. Gurman also notes that Apple could be changing the unified memory configurations because the MacBook Pros seen in testing have 36GB and 48GB unified memory options. Currently, Apple offers 8GB, 16GB, 24GB, 32GB, 64GB, and 96GB, 128GB, or 192GB memory options depending on the processor. On that basis, we could see this new 36GB unified memory option for the M3 Pro. For the M3 Max, we could see 16 CPU cores, that's 12 performance and 4 efficiency, and 32 or 40 GPU cores. Currently, the M2 Max offers a 12-core CPU and a 30-core or 38-core GPU. Beyond that, we could see the M3 Ultra with the 32 CPU cores, that's 24 performance and 8 efficiency, and 64 or 80 GPU cores, up from 24-core CPU and 60-core or 67-core GPU. Also, the M3 Max may get a new 32GB and 48GB unified memory options. Let's talk new MacBook Pro ports and connectivity. Another change coming to the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros could be the support for Thunderbolt 5. We're unlikely to see this standard until 2024 or 2025, but when it arrives, it should double the bi-directional bandwidth to 80GB from 40GB in Thunderbolt 4. A feature called Bandwidth Boost will also provide up to 128GB for video content. The new standard will be backwards compatible. Here's the lowdown on the ports and wireless capabilities currently offered by the MacBook Pro. 13-inch MacBook Pro, you got 2 Thunderbolt/USB 4 ports, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.0. 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro have 3 Thunderbolt 4/USB-C ports, HDMI, SDXC, Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. Hopefully the new 13-inch MacBook Pro will get a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi upgrade to match the truly Pro models. So what's your thoughts on all the Apple M3 hype? Get involved in the comments and subscribe, comment, and like for more. You know the deal. What have we got? 30-ish subscribers? Could we get that up just a little, please?